Dear students, welcome to this class of Political Science. Political science is a social science that deals with the state and its system of government, its political activity, political thoughts, and political behavior of the people. Last year, in Standard 9th, you learnt of international organizations, India's defense system, UN, and so on. This year, the first chapter in political science is Working of the Constitution. Here you will learn the different features of the Constitution, laws made by the government, how the Constitution ensures social justice, and the role of the judiciary. The Indian Constitution has declared its objective to establish a secular, democratic republic. Secular means the government treats all religions equally and no religion in India is given any preferential treatment. Democratic means all citizens of India are treated equally, irrespective of their gender, caste, creed, income, or community. And republic means a state in which the supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. Also, the country has an elected or a nominated president. Children, in the beginning of any textbook, we see the preamble printed, and you have been reciting the preamble every morning at school. The preamble can be classified into three parts. Firstly, the country should be sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Second, it states its objectives to secure justice, liberty, equality to all citizens and promotes fraternity to maintain the unity and integrity of the nation. And finally, it mentions the date, that is November 26th, 1949, on which the Constitution of India was adopted. Thus, let me highlight here that the Indian Constitution is seen as a means through which a progressive society based on social justice, equality, and freedom is safeguarded. Moving on now to the most important aspect of this chapter, the Constitution of our country. Children, what is the Constitution? I'm sure all of you are aware that the Indian Constitution is a book which contains a set of fundamental principles or a framework according to which a state or any other organization is governed. It establishes the structure, procedures, powers, and the duties of the government. Now, children, why do we need a constitution? Yes, the answer is we need a constitution because almost everything we do is governed by a set of rules, and the constitution defines the nature of our political system. Children, don't you all have your school calendars? And what does your calendar prescribe? Yes, you know, our school calendar has rules of discipline, classroom behavior, tips to be a good student, and so on, so that you follow these rules and regulations and the school is run smoothly. Similarly, in any game that you play, don't you follow a set of rules? Yes, you play the game in accordance to the set rules so that there is harmony and you will also enjoy the game. So now, let's learn about the framework of the Constitution of India. Well, the Constitution of India was framed by the drafting committee under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. To make a constitution was a very difficult task. Children, if you look around the nations of the world, you will notice that our country has 9 recognized religions and 22 languages. And all these 9 religions had to be protected in unity. Our constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949, and it came into force on January 26, 1950. Thus, we celebrate 26 January as our Republic Day. Some of the features of our Constitution are: our Constitution is the longest written Constitution. It took 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days to complete the final draft. In this chapter, we will take a brief overview of the wide-ranging nature of Indian Constitution and democracy. This review will focus on 3 areas. First, democracy. Second, social justice. And third, judicial system. So we now begin with the first feature, and that is democracy. I'm sure all of you are aware that democracy is considered to be the best form of government, and it comes from 2 Greek words, demos, meaning people, and kratos meaning power or rule. In other words, it means the supreme power is vested in the hands of the citizens. In a democratic country, there is freedom of expression and the people enjoy their fundamental rights. I shall now highlight the features of democracy. They are political maturity, right to vote, decentralization, and right to information. We shall discuss each of these features in detail. I shall now explain the first feature, that is political maturity. Democracy becomes an integral part of social life only if it is practiced. The people of the country should be aware of their rights. The political maturity of a country is measured by what citizens willingly do for themselves and for one another. Since the people have direct representation in Parliament, state legislature, and local government, they must elect the right candidate wisely. And this is political maturity. We are a nation of having a population of 130 crores approximately. So can we all go to Parliament? No, it's not possible. So what can we do? Well, we can choose our representatives through the general elections. We also have the Parliament comprising of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. When we elect our MPs and MLAs, they will represent us in Parliament. Children, in our classrooms, just as we have a class monitor who represents the whole class, our representatives will work for us by representing us at the Parliament. Holding free and fair elections is an important indicator of India's successful democracy. I shall now tell you the meaning of free and fair elections. Free means the people of the country have the freedom to choose their representatives, and fair means not indulging in any type of malpractice or corruption. We also have an election commissioner who looks into the internal affairs of the electoral system. In India, we have elections every 5 years, and the increasing participation of the people in the political process and political competition shows that Indian democracy has become successful. We now go to the next feature, and that is right to vote. The Indian Constitution has made the provision of right to vote for adults. Before independence, there were many laws which restricted the right to vote. But after independence, these laws were changed. The democratic system in India is based on the principle of adult suffrage, which means the right to vote to all adult citizens, regardless of their wealth, income, gender, social status, or any other restrictions. Let me add here, the richest man of India, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, as well as the common man from the lowest strata of society, have the same equal voting right. And this will be clear from the picture on your screen. Earlier, the voting age for men and women was 21 years. But the 61st Amendment of the Constitution lowered the voting age from 21 years to 18 years under the RAJIV Gandhi government. As the age limit was lowered from 21 years to 18 years, it provided the unrepresented youth of the country to become part of the political process. It increased the scope of democracy by including the youth, thus making India the largest democracy in the world. The change, which comes in with the largest number of voters, is qualitative as well as quantitative. The meaning of qualitative is the characteristics of being unique or having expertise and leadership qualities, while quantitative means in large numbers. The citizens can use their discretion as to which leader and which party should come to power. Dear students, in a few years from now, you too will be eligible to cast your vote. Kindly avail of this fundamental right bestowed to you and encourage others to vote too for the betterment of our motherland. Remember, when young generation come in political parties, they will bring in with them modern ideas. The political parties also will try to fulfill its expectations of the citizens, thus leading to competition in the political sphere. Today, as a nation, all our leaders, our paramedical staff, policemen, sanitation workers, and others engaged in different duties have stood up to the cause of serving humanity during this pandemic, irrespective of discrimination of caste or religion. And this is the finest example of democracy. We salute these frontline workers for their heroic task. Now you will watch a video that explains the process of casting a vote in the polling station.
Part number 98, serial number 9.
দিচ্ছেন তো?
We shall now focus on the third feature of democracy, that is, decentralization of democracy. Firstly, let us define centralization of power. Centralization refers to the concentration of power at the top or the higher position, while decentralization means the process of distributing power or decisions to the grassroots level or lower level. Earlier, only the central or state government had power within themselves. After 1992, the Indian Constitution divided the power between the center, state, and local level. Example, Gram Panchayat, Municipal Corporation. In our country, since all power is not in the hands of the central government, the state government has the power to take care of the state. In Maharashtra, our Chief Minister, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, has full authority to take any decisions with regards to the welfare of the state. And this is witnessed in the fact that though many states in India have announced unlock, Maharashtra still continues to be in the lockdown depending upon the present situation. Now let's take an example of the local self-government. Sometimes we may experience an acute shortage of water. So where do we refer our complaint to? Do we go to the Parliament or the Prime Minister? No. We will approach the local government. This is called decentralization of power. Decentralization controls the misuse of power. For example, if a dictator or a monarch has all power in his hands, then he will control all branches of government and media. But if the power is concentrated in the hands of many people like Lok Sabha, Prime Minister, Chief Minister, Mayor, Sarpanch, then there is less chance of power being misused. This also creates opportunities for people to come into politics and also allows common people's participation, like a common man can become a sarpanch or a corporator. The 73rd and 74th Amendment to the Constitution has given recognition to the local self-governing bodies with more power. Amendment means to change some act with the permission of the Parliament. The question now arises, why do we need the amendment to be changed? The answer is, our Constitution was framed in 1950 and now we are in the year 2020. So changes have been made from time to time depending on the situation in the country. Students, we shall now proceed to the fourth and last feature of democracy, that is right to information. After independence, it became important to empower citizens in democracy and provide opportunities to interact with the government. This act came into existence in 2005. The citizens could now obtain information from the government or any public body relating to its administration, operations, and decisions. For example, if a citizen wants to obtain any information on the expense of the metro construction or road repairs, he can file an application and expect an answer. But citizens should take care not to expect any answers to information on defense, arms or ammunition, as this information is highly confidential. Now, let's probe on the highlights of right to information. Right to information has increased the communication between the citizens and the government. It also builds a relationship of trust and strengthens democracy. Right to information has helped to reduce secrecy and corruption which surrounded the functioning of the government. Thus, its working has become very transparent. Let's now take a look at the Right to Information application form. You will see the procedure of applying for some information required by the applicant. Finally, let's learn about right-based approach. After 2000, the citizens of India got right to information, right to education, right to food security, and this was done due to the approach adopted by the government for the development of its citizens, so that a positive transformation in political, social, and economic field could be achieved. Earlier, the citizens were considered beneficiaries. A beneficiary means someone eligible to receive distribution from a trust or a person. However, this attitude was changed, and the new approach, which includes right to life, right to living, right to employment, right to food and housing, has made democracy stronger. We shall stop the lesson here and take a quick recap of what you have learnt. So children, let's get ready to revise what you studied today. First and foremost, the name of the chapter, Working of the Constitution. What is the Constitution? The Constitution is nothing but a book of law that prescribes the rules and regulations of a country. Our Constitution came to force on 26th of January 1950. Children, you remember the objectives of democracy? Yes, the objectives of democracy are being secular and having a democratic republic. What is democracy? Democracy is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, We have a representative government. We elect our representatives by voting, and that is known as adult suffrage. The age limit for voters at present is 18 years. Next, children, we learnt decentralization of power. And what do we mean by decentralization? Decentralization of power means distribution of power between the center, state, and local bodies like the Panchayat Raj and the municipal corporation. Its main advantage is it helps in the misuse of power. Lastly, children, we learnt right to information. Right to information is an act that gave the public the right to question the government. It has also helped to reduce corruption. And finally, right-based approach was adopted by the government after 2000 to promote the well-being of its citizens. With this, students, I have finished one part of this chapter. I will continue the remaining part in the next class. All students are requested to read the lesson. So we will meet again in the next week. Thank you and God bless.